So I've got another one of those news media based videos. I've spoke already about protecting yourself against sort of the negative forms of news and stimuli by checking where you're getting it from. But now I want to touch on why, like why it's being put out, why this journalist, this printing a paper or whatever it may be, why this website is publishing this exact newspaper, what is the purpose, the motive behind it. And that's knowing that and being able to observe that is just as important to protecting yourself against false news, damaging news, negative news, and like just wrong, unnecessary news, as important than who is saying it, who is giving it. A good person with a bad moral is far, far worse than a bad person with no moral at all. So you need to check the story itself and then back check, because it leads into who is saying it, back checking who is saying such things, because almost always it will be due to either a political bias or a socio-political bias or something that is within the interest or intentions of whoever's wrote it. They will want to appease their own side of the argument. They will want to sort of stand for what they believe in and are thus printing something in agreement with that because it strengthens their own argument, and it's not always true. You need to check what is being peddled. Is it some sort of ideology? Is it a positive affirmation in one person in particular? Could, in that case, could the writer be trying to convince you to like this person by omitting all the negative details and only including the good ones? Or are they downplaying certain sides of an event because they want you to look at it one way? Or are they trying to, in the extreme votes, is it a social media targeted ad that is almost completely obscuring the facts to get you to be pushed more and more into one side of a political argument? Is there a feeding force? It's like the fishing line has been thrown out and it's slowly being pulled back, and there's all congesting factors in the ideology that's trying to get you to sort of agree or believe or side with something or other. That's what it's like. Propaganda, I was going to say that's what propaganda is, but it's so similar to propaganda, yet in this stage of media now, this age now, it's so different from what the propaganda we know from history studies was and is. But this is exactly that. It's a false or altered medium with the intention of conveying a mistruth that convinces you to agree or side or deny or denounce. You could see an article that makes someone look terrible, that completely slanders someone and is absolutely fictional, but you think it's true and you agree with it, and that'll either be because of the person who's written it as a person, as an untrustworthy source, or as a person with interest trying to peddle their ideologies. And newspapers, I hate newspapers, especially the tabloids, but newspapers specifically, the big ones, the tabloids specifically, but all newspapers have politicians, have huge oligarchs with their hands in their pockets. The money that goes into newspapers from huge players, any newspaper, most newspapers have these huge sponsors who they want to appease and don't want to piss off, because if they piss off these people, they're going to take money away from the firm. So these huge influential figures have so much money in newspapers. Think Murdoch, think the Democratic Party, think all these other investors who are paying to keep these newspapers running. That's motive alone for a newspaper to print a full story if it backs them. That's motive alone for a newspaper to omit details. That's motive alone for them to not tell the whole truth for their own interests. It's not always who is doing it that you need to protect yourself against, but make sure you are. It's sometimes why they're doing it.